right, welcome to a special episode of Speak for Yourself. We are celebrating 4 years at BLD, Black Leaders Detroit, with our COO Ken and our CEO Dewan. You know, we got Diddy and Suge here. So
boy.
Take that.
So with that, we're going to interview you about Black Leaders Detroit, but I want to start off with a little joke. What do you call two Gen X leaders in the city?
Two Gen X leaders in the city.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a stab at it, Ken?
Gen 20? I don't know.
Bald Leaders Detroit.
Wow.
Shout out to Richard.
Don't quit your day job.
Yes.
Or because you just called us ball leaders, you may get fired from your day job.
You definitely didn't miss your calling and stand up or sit down.
And you never told the people who you are, by the way. Who are you?
Fair enough. I'm Sharia Ayers, the Director of Membership and Events for Black Leaders Detroit. If you are not a member, you need to sign up today at blackleadersdetroit.org. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Who would like to start us off with the origin story of BLD?
Go ahead, Ken. I've told this story. I've heard my rendition of it. What's your version of how we started?
My version is, Dewan called me, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Well, he sent me a text message. Hey, I want to talk to you about something. Give me a call when you can. So I gave him a call.
So wait, let's go back.
Yep.
How did he even know to call you?
Because I met with him. Dewan was at the time at Life Remodeled. And I met with Dewan at that point and talked about, I was running a program called Big Green. And I met with him and asked him for his assistance in helping me. What was the school next to Durfee? What was that?
Central.
Central. In helping us establish Big Green at Central and at Durfee. And so we met and talked about that. And then he knew of me at that point, now working in that space as an entrepreneur, as a leader of a nonprofit of Big Green. And so we had been friends. So we were friends. But at that point is when he learned what I was doing with Big Green at that point, right? So because of our friendship, because of what I was doing with Big Green, and that whole situation, then he reached out to me and several other people that he thought could help him build this organization, this idea that he had in his head to build Black Leaders Detroit. So me being one of the people, called me up, talked to me about the idea. I was like, normally I'm pretty skeptical about things. Like I'm very skeptic about a lot of things. And so but I knew right then that this was just a great idea. It just made a lot of sense. A very small way for folks to get involved, to make a small donation, but over time, with enough people, they can make a really, really big impact, right? And so that just made a lot of sense to me. So he invited me to this meeting, and then it was great because I walked into the meeting. There was probably about maybe 10 other people there, probably a little bit more than that, actually. So 10 other people, well-respected leaders in the community. So I was like, all right, bet, we about to do this. Okay. And so within time, just working on the organization, a couple of people dropped off because they had other things that they needed to do, which dwindled us down to our 5 core founders of the organization. When did that start?
So we started, I reached out to everybody in January, and I think we had our first meeting in February, and it was like 2-3 meetings before like the people that weren't going to be around dropped off. And then it was, I would say, March, when it was just the 5 of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we was meeting, what, weekly or bi-weekly?
We were meeting bi-weekly.
Yep.
So who are the 5? Where to start in 5?
Sure. So it's Dewan, of course, the visionary of this all, then myself, Kim Uhuru, Quan Nellums, and Shannon Gaston.
Okay.
And so it was us 5 got together bi-weekly. We're all, and all those people were running their own things too. Like
Very busy.
Very busy things as well, right? Like every single one of them had a lot of responsibilities.
Very demanding schedules and kids.
Right? So to take time out and come build this, but that just shows that the belief that everyone in the room at that point had in the organization and the vision of where we were to go. And so got together bi-weekly, and, you know, Dewan is very ambitious. So it's like, oh, we're going to launch October. I don't know if October 26th was the date we originally picked, but it was in October. I know that much. And then, so we set a date so that we can have something to shoot for, and then just start building it for that with a date and launch in October. We launched on October 26th at the Charles Wright Museum.
Yep.
Okay. So speaking of skepticism, had the pleasure of working with you gentlemen now a little over a year. Both of you are very skeptical. So you sign off to being his friend?
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
No, you're not too skeptical. I'm just teasing because when he said friend, I was like, the one?
You know what I mean?
Associates.
Right. Long term relationship.
Right.
Acquaintances. Yeah.
Friendly.
Right. But no, speaking of which though, why Ken? Why did you see him as?
I mean, I'm gonna be real. It's hard to find like ideal people, so sometimes you gotta just roll with who's available. You know what I'm saying? It's just rough out there sometimes.
It's hard,
especially when you're not paying. You know?
Right.
So you just gotta kind of like see who's out there. He's about our 13th pick. You know what I'm saying?
There's only 10 people in the room. I'm the 13th pick out of 10 people in the room.
12 people, and they all said no. You know what I mean? So until I got the Ken, I was like, yeah. If he say no, I won't be too hurt. You know what I mean? But no, I'll be honest with you. So one, like I like to work with people that can get stuff done. And he had a track record of being like just somebody that can get stuff done. And it was really important that people could get some stuff done and were committed to black people. You know what I mean? And getting resources to black people. What he was doing by vocation at the time was doing that, right? But also his history and like the organization that some of you familiar with that he started when he was a college student at Ferris State. You know what I mean? So I thought that this might be something that he would believe in enough to be able to commit himself to. So that's the reason that I sought him out.
Okay. And why did you decide to follow Dewan? Like I know you mentioned he was ambitious, but again, I know you're a processor. So why Dewan?
Kind of like Debo. I mean, really was like, like, hey, you going to join this? I'm going to take your grandma chain. I didn't want him to take my grandma chain. No, it was just really his vision. I've seen him before Black Leaders Detroit and before Life Remodeled. He had another organization that he had started, him and his wife, where they had a home for people who were homeless, right? So individuals, returning citizens, or people addicted to drugs, so whatever situation they were facing in hard times, they provided this space for them for free, and then Dewan would even give them a job. At that time, he had a construction company, so give them a job as well. And so I had a friend of mine, who was on hard times. And so I referred him to Dewan, and then we met with Dewan, and he just listened to the dude and just took him in, right? And said, okay, this is your room, this is it, and gave him a job. And so I knew then his character as a man was really for people. It was a very unselfish character, right? And so when you meet someone who has an unselfish character, and then you start following that person, you instantly have that trust in them, because you don't think it's for some other reasons other than what they telling you is for, right? And so I knew that of him. So then when he came and talked about this idea, I knew it wasn't to put money in his pocket. I knew it wasn't to put money in my pocket. I knew it was to put money in the hands of black entrepreneurs. And so I'm like, bet, I'm on board with that. How can I help you? So it just made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. So walk us through the first year of BLD. What were the dynamics then?
So the first year, I'm going to include that time when we were having those biweekly meetings. A part of what Ken and the other team members did, they helped me like streamline the vision, right? Because I was trying to do a few different things at one time.
Trying to do like 20 things. We gonna save the babies. We gonna save real estate. We gonna save education. We gonna save the whales.
Part of what,
black whales, though. Only black whales.
Martez, get your boy. Oh man.
Black whales. Sure to say black whales. Paul Gray whales, they have a change.
Oh my goodness. Oh, all whales
black
matter.
statement.
All whales matter.
But they help you streamline and what?
Yes, they'll be streamlined the vision. So one of the things that Ken is good at doing is he will push back. He'll be quick to push back, even if he believes in the overall mission. So some of the things that they were able to do is get me to like let go of some of the things that I wanted to incorporate into the organization. So there was a part of that, and then actually taking the idea and turning it into an organization, filing the paperwork and whatnot. So Shannon was able to connect with this young brother James, who was a part of our original team once we started the organization as well. He connected us with him. James processed our paperwork. We were able to use our network and of people that we know to get the launch at the Charles H. Wright. So we had to get a venue. We had to get some food. We had to get videographers. So we used our network to do those things. And I would say that the launch went off really well for an organization that didn't have any money and no budget. It went well, and there was a few people that really, really pitched in to make that happen. Nina Payne gave us a great deal on managing the organization. I would say Mike E. He emceed the event and did a phenomenal job. Latrice and Darius McClendon, owners of Tormino's. At the time, it was in the DIS. Now it's in Midtown. They provided food for us. Latrice helped us get a $5,000 grant. You know what I mean? One of our first grants ever. And that was huge. We got some support from Regina Hamelsbach, who's a consistent funder of ours. And yeah, it was off and running. The Marshalls,
Sharnice and her family, the whole family showed up.
I owe them a call. I call them like on the anniversary every year. The Marshalls showed up so strong. Shout out to Sharnice, the executive director of the Connection. If one of the Marshalls volunteer, they'll come with the whole crew. You know what I mean? You have folks flying in from out of state to come and support. And then, the team, of course, that everybody that Ken just named was just all the way sold out, and we had over 200 people show up. Another 100 if you count the DYC's parents, because the DYC performed at the launch. So shout out to Anthony White and his whole team for the amazing work that they do with the youth. But it was just really, really special, and you could tell from the kickoff of the launch of the organization. And then we spent some time after the launch. The plan was for us to raise money from October 26, 2019 to October 26, 2020 before we would distribute any money. But shortly after our launch, in March, everything was shut down in 2020. So we had $10,300 in the bank. And we were thinking that we were just going to continue to build that. But, we had met and we said, look, like we might as well, get this money out to the business owners that are struggling right now, right? Because, the thought of doing a no interest loan, 9 months from now, these businesses won't even be around. Yeah. So we decided at that moment that we were going to start doing our first grant initiative, which initially we weren't going to do grants for for-profit businesses. The grants were going to be for nonprofits, and the no interest loan was going to be for for-profits. But we decided to do that. And, you know, in the middle of trying to, you know, teach our kids virtually, you know, work remotely. You're running a team, a staff at Big Green at the time. You know, Shannon's got young children. Quan has young children, and you know, Kim's running an office. So we were doing all of that, and we put together a grant application that we would process, and we were able to start giving money out, like, you know, in a couple weeks' time. And we started with a $500 grant that turned into $700 once one of our supporters, Keith Buford, who wants to be anonymous oftentimes, so my bad, my bad, Bishop, him and his wife decided to support that grant, so it went to $700, and we just continued to do that week after week, and it eventually grew to $5,000 grants thanks to a partnership with Flagstar by the end of 2020. And we were able to distribute $218,000 by the end of 2020 is what we were able to distribute.
Nice.
And going into even some of the pre-work before the launch, because you talk about how that first year looked like. I think a lot of times you hear so often people starting nonprofits, right? And they really have to get an understanding how difficult that is and how difficult that can be. Right? Sometimes some people like us, like him, can make it look easy, and it is by far not easy. Right? And so, you need a dedicated group of people who are about the work, can bring something to the work.
Right.
A lot of times you can get some friends, you can get people to sign up for something, say, yeah, I got it, but they sit in the room and don't bring any value. And that does nothing for you. Right? So having people in a space that bring something to the work. All of us had our own lane. When we needed writing, we all sat back and let Shannon write every single thing that we done, right? Him and Kim, that was their thing. They would write every single thing.
Shannon and Kim was our AI.
Right.
They were our chat GPT. They were our chat GPT.
That's exactly what we just all sat back like, that's on y'all. And, you know, they would write it. And even the first grants we applied for, they wrote that. And would you know, kind of double check each other's work. So we all had our just our roles in that. But then in addition to that, as I mentioned, every single person was an executive in their own thing, right? But yet every single person showed up with humility in that space and not trying to fight or posture, as the one likes to say, to show, hey, I'm in charge here, or I need to be in charge here, or whatever the case may be, or you don't know what you're talking about, or whatever. It was like, no,
have any of that.
You know, we just came together as a group, as a team, and was just like, all right, you know, this is the vision you want to go. If we disagree with something that someone was saying, we were speaking to it, but it was nothing ever, no animosity around it, right? Which I see a lot of organizations, I feel, have some issues with, is not having people who have the humility to do the work in the room, right? And so that was also important. And then lastly, is being able to have, which is tough, a network of people that you can lean on to get some of this initial funding. And that's difficult, right? Like a lot of times people feel they're going to start a nonprofit and people going to start throwing them some money. It's not true. It's not going to happen.
It does not work that way.
So you have to, get comfortable with asking your people for some money, which is what DeJuan did. So he just mentioned the first couple of dollars he got from asking people that he knew, right? Our website was built because he went and asked a friend to give us money to build a website, right? And then that's how we got our website built. So it was him also believing in this mission enough to say, hey, I'm going to go get some of my people and ask them, you may not serve on this 5 board because you don't got the time, but can you give me some money so that we can build it? And so then once that started happening, then it was able, to now, once we started doing the work, living the work, then we were able to ask someone to make a donation to the work. And then they started, with them seeing what we were doing, it made sense for them to make a donation. But if his board wouldn't have been in place, if the professionalism that we all brought hadn't been in place and done the work, that was supposed to be done, then I don't know if we would be where we were at today, right? So he just did an amazing job assembling the people, and then once we got there, everyone in that space did what we were supposed to do.
Well, that's awesome. And two things. One, you really shared some gems in regards to fundraising and building a nonprofit. Nonetheless, we need to go ahead and give that shameless plug about more money, more impact. No you know, you can find out more information there. Tell us a little bit more about that before I get us back on schedule.
I mean, if you want to hear more about, what Ken shared about building an organization, and even more importantly than that, raising money for your initiatives. We know that there are a lot of underfunded, Black-led nonprofits out there in our city doing crazy work that has huge impact. But we feel like some of the gap in their fundraising is just knowing what to do, how to find funding, and how to make the ask, how to prepare yourself to receive that type of funding. We're going to be sharing a lot of that at More Money, More Impact, November 29th and 30th. You can sign up through our website. Look up More Money, More Impact at blackleadersdetroit.org.
Yep. Thank you for that. So you had mentioned humility as well as just people not posturing. You mentioned a number of things. So when we talk about all of those characteristics or qualities, what values do you all possess in regards to wanting to see BLD expand? Like, what values do you all hold most important with expansion?
What you mean values? Values, personal values or values?
Values or expansion. So whatever you think. So like you just said, humility was a big one. So as we expand and continue to grow, is that something that you want to take with us as we do that? Like, so that's what I mean.
Yeah, I would say from like hearing that, humility piece, I can remember when the board gave me my first no. It was led by Ken and Kim, right? And I remember them giving me my first no. I wanted us to kind of partner with another organization that was doing some similar work, and kind of like take on some of what they were doing and give them the infrastructure that we had as an organization. And they gave me a no. And I was salty about getting a no because, part of being a visionary is you walk in thinking that your idea is the right idea. And for the most part, like if I come with an idea, because I'm immersed in the work, then they would like, all right, like that's right, like let's roll with that. But they saw like something that I just couldn't see, and they gave me a no. It was like, look, like we done heard you, let's just vote. I think it was Ken was like, let's just vote. He know I didn't have the votes.
Ain't no point in going no back and forth.
We're going back and forth. I'm trying to be, persuasive and whatnot, and him and Kim just wasn't feeling it, and it got voted down. And I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Got off. But you look up 5-6 months later, and it's like they were absolutely right. You know what I mean? So that humility and like wanting a team that is committed to the work and not just committed to the individual. You know what I mean? Like that's important, right? Like not someone that's like just confrontational for the sake of like not caring about the person. But like, no, like I know everybody on the team like loves me, believes in my leadership, but also like they're not so in love with me that if I come with a bad idea or something that's like going to take or jeopardize the organization, that they just going to rubber stamp it. You know what I mean? So wanting to walk out the room with the best idea instead of just your idea is really important as you talk about expansion. You know what I mean?
I would add to that the passion to build. I feel that all the original founders had the passion to build something, to want to build something. And so, and as we hire new staff members like yourself, we came to you and said, hey, this is what we got. This is what we want to do.
I'm sorry. DeJuan came to me.
You see, I left it alone. You see, I left it alone.
Okay, when DeJuan came to you,
Sharia's turned out to be a very great addition to the team, and now Kim is doing what he normally does and makes it his idea. You know what I'm saying?
it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
it was my idea to hire you. I mean, you know what I mean? DeJuan said, "I'm thinking about it."
Okay.
You know, he said, "Kim, why don't you feel her out for me?" I'm thinking about this. Why don't you fill her out for me? You know what I mean? But no, but definitely, like yourself and other team members, that's what we're looking for, is people who want to build, right? While we're in this building state, and as we expand, that's what we will continually look for, is someone who says, "Hey, I want to build, and I'm willing to do what it takes to build this organization," right? And that takes that selflessness, and someone who's not just like, "Hey, I'm about here to get a check," because there's, as you know, there's so many other things you got to do when you're building an organization. It may not even be on your job description, right? And to look and say, that ain't my job. This ain't the right organization, right? And so that's what we're looking for too. That's what we value as we're looking to expand. Again, it's just partners or people who want to build.
That's fair. I respect that.
Yeah.
I agree. So, I am a Christian, and so this question derives from my own personal beliefs, because in the Word it says, God will provide exceedingly abundantly more than you could ever imagine or ask for. So with the growth in these past 4 years, what's something that exceeded your imaginations within this time period, like within the organization?
I'll jump in while Ken is thinking. So at the end of that, it says, by his power that is at work within us, right? So I think that some of the support that we've received from our ally community is kind of really been helpful for me. Obviously, something like Black Leaders Detroit should be receiving support from the Black community. That's a given, right? Maybe not to some, but that's a given, at least in my mind. But some of the support that we're receiving from some of our allies is really gone like above what I probably would have imagined, especially in the beginning of us starting and creating the organization. So really excited about that, and learning how to build and even share with others how to be intentional about inviting, allies in, finding the right allies, right? Not looking for allies that want to co-opt and run take your good idea, stiff arm you, and take the ball up the field themselves, but looking for allies that, understand ally is support, right? And not, what we far too often see some of our white friends and colleagues do, jump to the top, and they end up being the ones making all of the decisions. We're not looking for that, but we've received a lot of support from people that are not, don't identify as Black, and that's really been giving me a fresh challenge to the narratives that history has created in my mind. You know what I mean?
For me, it would be, since he took that one.
Like he thought of it.
I thought of that one.
Like,
He thought he saw me over here thinking about it. That's what
he
I'll jump in.
Right. He read my thought
Right,
bubble.
he read my thought
and
bubble. That's what it was. No, it would be I guess how all of the nonprofits were. I may be ignorant to this, but it feels like all the nonprofits working within this space, all the social impact organizations, rather, working within this space, play well together, right? And that is extremely difficult to find. I was talking to a brother the other day who has a youth organization, and he just talked to me how hard it is to get partners in his industry, so to say, in that area to partner with them. I'm like, yeah, of course, because there's so many people fighting for funds in youth development, right? And so everyone is like, hey, this is my piece of the pie. I don't want to share my piece of the pie. Or, hey, we're doing this. Forget you, because you should just be helping us, not doing your own thing. You run into that so many times. When I led Big Green, when Big Green moved here, I spent the first year battling or proving that we belonged in this space, Big Green. Just battling against people telling me, why am I here? Why are we here? Why are you doing this? And just having to fight that fight. I spent the whole year doing that and just having to prove myself. And so I don't feel we've had to do that, right? And in actuality, a lot of the people who are in this space doing this work are our allies as well.
Supported us.
Has supported us.
In a number of ways.
Yeah, it's given us, we met with them and talked to them about the work that we're doing. When we first started the organization and said, hey, how do you help us with this? And they met with us, gave us information, right? Some even gave us some funders that can help us, right? And so that's what I'm just most surprised by, is just how well we've all been able to play together. And then now that's been able to, we've moved up, in my opinion, as a leader in this space. And sometimes that can be intimidating to people when you just start out a brand new organization. And I don't feel like we've ran against that. So I feel like we've been okay.
So what is your favorite BLD moment or impact story?
Your agent, that's your agent.
Yeah, that's my agent.
Trying to work out a new contract.
Right. You're like, look,
speak for yourself.
Like, look,
Podcast.
I don't know what y'all talking about on here, but they need to give you some more money. We ain't playing together. This sandbox ain't that nice after all. You say biggest impact story?
No, I said favorite moment or impact story.
I got two. So for me, my favorite moment is a moment we always joke about, which his nickname, half of his nickname comes from Suge. Well, his new nickname is Dewanse. That's his new nickname. So now he's Dewanse Suge, right?
Baba Dewan.
Baba Dewanse Suge. So that's his new nickname. For people who don't know where he got the nickname Dewanse from, when we have events, he likes to change multiple outfits and be a diva at all of our events.
He had to be drippy.
He got to be drippy. So that's Dewanse, where that comes
part
from.
is definitely getting edited out.
But no, it's where the other half of the nickname should come from. It's just Dewan staying true to our mission. Like a lot of times what nonprofits find themselves doing at times is either mission drifting or changing their mission to fit funding, right? And it's because, quite honestly, you got to cut payroll, right? And so if you're working in a scarcity mindset, you're like, man, I got to cut payroll. This organization says they're going to give me $200,000, $500,000, $1 million if I do A. I got to pay them. I probably should do A, right? And that is the tendency that a lot of times we have to do. And Dewan and I have had these conversations many of times when we face against the option of having to do A. And so for the most parts, he'll say, nah, let's not do A. Let's do a hybrid of A, or don't do A at all. And we'll have our discussions about that. And I may not agree all the time, but it has always seemed to work out, right? Okay. And I don't mean just work out by just through luck or through just even just God on its own, but because he actually thought about it. I don't want to just make it look like it was lucky that he thought of this and it just happened. No, it's because he thought about it. He thought of the consequences and weighed the consequences and the risk and said, nope, I think we'd rather our organization work better if we stay in this path, in this direction. And whether I've agreed 100% of the times or not, it has worked out. So that's taught me a few things, again, in regards to just the scarcity mindset and making sure that we stay on our mission. So that's one of those defining moments for me within our organization. And then just the impact story would be just the some of the organizations we've been able to fund. I mean, there's quite a few, but just when you're on the phone with them, talking to them about their vision, you see the creativity that Black folks have, the passion that they have for whatever that one thing is that they're going to do or this thing that they're doing, and then come to us. Thanks to our members, we're able to provide them funding, and then that one thing, boom, blows up.
Right.
And you're like, that's why this was created, right? Because at one point, him and I were both entrepreneurs, and I've been an entrepreneur a few times, tried a couple of things, but there was always a point where I had to decide, feed my family or stay on this entrepreneur track. And I need to feed my family, so it's time for me to go back to work, right? So now to be able for us to be a resource to where that person who's faced with that, they can come to us and borrow the money to help grow their organization, which is what we're doing, and has happened multiple times. That's definitely just a big impact that I've just been very happy and blessed to be a part of and see.
Yeah. So my favorite part of, the job is when I get to pull up on people with checks. Like, I love that part. Like, that's what makes me like, I have the best job in the city by far.
That's
like,
why you don't let nobody else do it.
I literally get to pull up on Black folks with a check. You know what I mean?
You don't let nobody else do it.
We got footage of you doing it.
Yeah,
we get to do it once.
Nobody
we get to do it once.
What'd you say, Dwan?
Nobody's paying attention. Ken's nickname is Flash from the 5 Heartbeats. You know what I mean? He's trying to get Eddie Kane Jr.'s part. You know what I mean? But I think over the course of these last 4 years, the thing that's probably grown me the most, if I'm just being real, just Dewan as a person, it's the ride for equity and the experience that we have on that journey, right? It's that first year, Ken, when we did the ride, and I mean, y'all have heard me talk about like what I expected when I was riding solo through rural parts of the state. And then when we actually did the ride and everybody that we encountered was like really, really welcoming to us all over the state, it just reminded me that though our work is important, necessary, that we get resources to people that have intentionally been left out due to racist systems, right? That there's a whole lot of people that ain't had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? That like you make assumptions that they like stand in agreement with some of those biases and whatnot. But if you get a chance to meet people and give them the benefit of the doubt, then you'll find out that there's a lot more people that will be with you and that will stand with you. And that's to the point that you made earlier about the passage of scripture that you referenced. That's the part that I love, right? It's like that's the thing that's like impacted me and it challenged me to grow the most and not make assumptions about people no matter like where they come from. And it's still a work. Like I still have to remind myself and work to do that. It doesn't just come so naturally. Right. It comes naturally to make some assumptions, you know what I mean? But that's challenged me in a way that I can't forget it. I can't let it go. That ride and those people are real. When those people were going in their pockets and saying, hey, I'll donate to the work that y'all are doing for Black entrepreneurs, you know what I mean?
That's not Black people.
There's not Black people. They'll probably never their kids will never get jobs at those stops. They're on a halfway across the state, you know what I mean? But they would donate. And that, is the part that has me probably even most encouraged, right? Because as we have a mission to get 1 million people making that commitment, it's going to take a lot more than just Detroiters. It's going to take a lot more than Black Detroiters. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Agreed. All right, so tell us a little bit about what we can expect for BLD Day.
She probably need to answer.
I think you got to answer.
They don't read emails.
Shreya, tell us a little bit. about what we should expect on BLD Day.
Yeah.
Sharia.
Well, we do have the wind down. Are we
That's
saying
today.
dates? Yeah, I didn't know if we were
well,
saying dates. Either way,
It's gonna air tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But we have the wind down today.
we have
Thursday.
the wind down
Wednesday.
At Bricks.
Wednesday. Yes, at Bricks. And Micaiah Westbrooks is a member as well as a grant recipient of ours. So definitely happy to activate her space for our anniversary because that's a prime example of what we do.
That's it.
So we have the wind down tonight at Bricks. Tomorrow we have BLD Day, which is our social media campaign, and we are asking all of our members, supporters, followers, everyone to post tomorrow. Like, we are trying to go viral. So no matter whose page you're on, you should see BLD flyer or information on how to join. So that's what BLD Day is.
And
then,
by tomorrow, you mean October 26th. So if you're watching this today, then today is BLD Day.
exactly.
October
October
26th.
26th. The toolkit can be found on our website, blackleadersdetroit.org, or on our social media. So, yes, that is the campaign for tomorrow. And we also have one of our supporters of Massive Group Entertainment, Terrence Woods. I'm used to saying T Woods. But anyway.
Shout out to T Woods.
Yes, he is.
He sprung into action quick. Like
He did,
I met
really
him
did.
a few months ago at a Bank of America event, and he was like,
Yeah.
made some stuff happen.
Literally. So, Thursday, October 26th, Massive Group Entertainment will be hosting a social networking event at table number 2 in support of Black Leaders Detroit. So it is part 2 of our anniversary celebration. And again, just going to show how people back us and believe in what we're doing.
No doubt.
So we will be activating 2 Black-owned establishments in honor of BLD Day.
And what the expectation is, I think, also, it's just to get more members, right? I mean,
Get
for
members.
BLD Day, get more members to sign up and support Black entrepreneurs. I think one of the segments on our show is always, like, one of them is Angry Black Woman, right? So if I do Angry Black Man, one of the things that I find myself getting angry about, but just frustrated about, is how many times I got to ask my own network to donate, right? And to where it's like people who follow me, who see me, who know me, and will talk to you on the street like, dog, I love what you're doing. You a member yet? Oh, no, I ain't even got around to donating yet. But you love what I'm doing.
I'm not gonna be able to keep doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless you sign up.
If you sign up, right? So that's like, just big for me. If you care about the work that we're doing as Black Leaders Detroit, if you care about Ken, Dewan, Sharia, Lorenz, Tiana, Jared, if you care about those folks, then make a donation. It's $1 a week, now $4 a month, $52 a year. Just make a donation to support the work. I think people need to understand that, of course, we've raised over, I think, $300,000 through membership.
We're at 400,000.
Okay, we're at $400,000. So raised $400,000 through membership, but we've distributed over $2 million. And we all get salaries. So to understand, the money that we get from membership does not pay us. You're not paying us. You're not fattening our pockets. Dewan has to go out and fundraise for that to help pay our salaries, while this money is paying the entrepreneurs. So there's just every reason to donate is to contribute and support Black entrepreneurs. And for my friends to stop saying, I'm going to get around to do it. Just do it. That's what I want to happen on BLD Day, is to sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that, like one of the things that is happening right now that people may not be aware of is that there is an assault on organizations like us. All you have to do is Google Fearless Fund.
Right.
So there is a group, the same group that strategically went after affirmative action and walked that down and won that lawsuit to where we don't have affirmative action anymore. They are coming after organizations like ours. And they are not playing. They are very serious. So we have to be more serious, right? Like, it is more crucial now than ever before that you sign up to donate that $1 a week or as much as you're able to. It's just a matter of time before we end up on their radar, right? Like, we do pretty much the same thing that the Fearless Fund does. They're specifically for Black women, right? Women of color, but they have grants that are specifically for Black women. And there are people that are not happy about it, and they're not wasting any time, right? Like, you won't hear them say, I'm trying to stop initiatives to support Black people, but I haven't really got around to it yet. They're like, no, we're on top of it. And they're putting a lot of money and a lot of resources behind stopping the work that we're doing. And the way for you to help us and combat that is to sign up to donate that $1 a week. And we hope that you won't wait. We hope that you'll share it with other friends and family members that believe in fairness to support this work, right? It's like we have reason for concern. We've had multiple meetings with our attorneys about strategically how do we prepare ourselves for it. And one of the ways is making sure that we're rendering support from people like you. So please join us and become a member.
That's a good ESA. I'm proud, Very proud.
If you weren't in the room, we probably wouldn't have did it, but it just felt shameful if we did it with you in the
That's
room.
why I say I'm proud, Okay, well, to wrap up, I'm going to ask you all a question and be honest. So,
Don't
if
ask
you
for
were
a raise on
Right,
TV.
don't do
try to
that.
ask for no raise on
I didn't even think about it, right? But now that you say it, give more than $1 a week.
I keep my bread up.
Right.
I told them we don't support our salaries.
Fair enough. But I mean, you're right. Okay. But anywho, if you were on a deserted island, what, or should I say, which team member or funding board member would you take with you to help?
If I was what now?
Can we go board members or funding board, or it'd be funding board or team?
It's all board.
Any board. I'm sorry. Any board.
Anybody that fits in our We Are BLD. Mm-hmm. So that's
that whole little
ally, staff.
I'm taking Kim.
board.
I can just chill. I'm straight. You just leave us there. We can just leave us there.
He had to say that. He had to say that.
Right, I should have said
I'll take
right,
Kim.
outside
Leave
of
us
Kim.
there.
Right,
We'll be
right.
trying to repopulate that island.
I'm gonna take Sheree, I would love to say you.
You don't have
But
to.
I'm not going to. Because you're going to be worried about putting on blue lipstick and eyeliner. I'm going to say Leon. First of all, I'm going to take Leon.
Because he got a boat.
Because he got a boat.
Good thinking.
Thank you. Thank you. He got a boat, some jet skis. I ain't going to be stranded for long.
Right.
Leon might have a helicopter.
Right,
Leon have a helicopter.
I was thinking we stranded.
That's electric.
Yeah, that's right. Electric helicopter. He was like, oh, Kim, we ain't stranded. Hold on.
Right.
Let me call my helicopter. And then there it is. Right there. We're going to be picked
Like,
up.
you got to cord this kid to where we at.
Right. So I'm taking Leon so he can get us off the
Leon
island
to get you home.
with one of the transportation methods that he has, because he
Okay.
has multiple transportation methods. So that's what I'm going to be on the island with.
All right.
How about you? Who would you take?
Why you on with Kim? Stranded.
Hey, like, y'all can have it.
That's the retirement plan.
Right. Now I like, maybe I better rethink that.
Right.
What about you? Yeah, you said
I'm not being interviewed.
That's weak. Right.
Got him. All right. So thank you for joining us in another episode of Speak for Yourself. Is there any closing remarks that you all would like to make before we conclude?
Yeah. So Ken referenced some of those partners that are in the same line of work that we do. And I want to name the individuals, but I'll name their organizations. So definitely shout out to Hebrew Free Loan, Invest Detroit, Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance, Build Institute, Prosper Us, all of them kind of came, and Glide Path Strategies, who was led by Kalia Berg-Gaston, who helped us, work on the structure and the tools that we needed to be able to do what it is that we do. Like we wouldn't be where we are as fast as we got here without their support.
Yeah.
Just that. I'm just appreciative of where we're at as an organization. More especially for me, it's always our team. I remember seeing somewhere a long time ago, like, you shouldn't say, "Oh, my family at work," right? Because you should separate your work as your work and your family is your family. I've never really bought into that. I understand it, but I never really bought into it because it feels good to have my work family, right? Mm-hmm. And every member of our team I love, like I love, you know what I mean? And so to be able, because that's not going to happen all the time, so I don't take that lightly. I don't take that for granted.
I don't either.
Right? To where you can be in a space to where you truly care about those people and you feel that those people truly care about you. And so, but that's just, again, going from the work that we've been able to do, the culture that we've been able to create. And I'm just extremely blessed to be a part of that and be around some really, really good people.
That's a good one. Yeah. Y'all have done a good job with cultivating culture here. So thank you all for that. Thank you all for tuning in.
We're not doing blue lipstick at work anymore, though.
I'm sorry.
Oh, boy. Such a hater.
Such a hater. The one, the only one that got... That style, man. Like, we had to get Ken together anyways. But anywho, thank you all for tuning in. Again, BLD Day 2023, October 26th. All day posting. Spread the word. Sign up for membership at blackleadersdetroit.org. Thank you all. God bless you. Good night.
Peace.